Good morning and welcome, parents, families, friends, alumni, faculty, staff, students, and most importantly, the class of 2018, to this beautiful, perfect graduation day at Indian Springs School. Welcome to this beginning. This is not a moment for me to speak too much, but instead allow your voices to ring across the lake and fields. You'll hear from 4 of your classmates, Sherhu and Bella Patel, whom you've chosen to open and close the ceremonies, and in between, Mark Romero and Nathan Fisher, this year's 2 mayors. But as it's my last opportunity, I want to tell you what an honor it has been to spend the last 2 years with this group of inspiring students. Now, as you become alumni of Indian Springs, I want you to know that we have heard you. You've been clear that this school is a place that you cherish and adore. You want to be able to return to it in years to come and to feel at home here, to feel that you own it as much as you do now. You will always own what you did and said and accomplished here. You will always have the people you have known and loved here, and I hope you will always recognize the soul and happy genius of this place as you yourselves take to the open road and become who you will be. Indian Springs will abide here and will always be your home. I think the great American poet Walt Whitman would have loved this place. The grass, the waters, the freedom we have to loaf and invite our souls, the people of all shapes and sizes and kinds. So I'm going to use my privilege for a few more minutes to read to you from Whitman's Song of the Open Road, which is a full-throated song of parting and departing, and perfect for this moment. It's a celebration of the kind of liberation, autonomy, and optimism that we hope you feel as you leave here, full as you are with so much goodness, with the world stretching before you without limits or imaginary lines. Afoot and lighthearted, I take to the open road. Healthy, free, the world before me, the long brown path before me leading wherever I choose. Henceforth I ask not good fortune, I myself am good fortune. Henceforth I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing, done with indoor complaints, libraries, querulous criticisms, strong and content, I travel the open road. From this hour I ordain myself loosed of limits and imaginary lines, going where I list, my own master total and absolute, listening to others, considering well what they say, pausing, searching, receiving, contemplating, gently but with undeniable will, divesting myself of the holds that would hold me. I inhale great draughts of space. The east and west are mine, the north and south are mine. I am larger, better than I thought. I did not know I held so much goodness. All seems beautiful to me. I can repeat over to men and women, you have done such good to me. I would do the same to you. I will recruit for myself and you as I go. I will scatter myself among men and women as I go. Listen, I will be honest with you. I do not offer the smooth old prizes, but offer rough new prizes. These are the days that must happen to you. You shall not heap up what is called riches. You shall scatter with lavish hand all you earn or achieve. Allons, the road is before us. It is safe. I have tried it. My own feet have tried it well. Be not detained. Let the paper remain on the desk unwritten, and the book on the shelf unopened. Let the tools remain in the workshop. Let the money remain unearned. Let the school stand. Mind not the cry of the teacher. Let the preacher preach in his pulpit. Let the lawyer plead in the court, and the judge expound the law. Camarado, I give you my hand. I give you my love more precious than money. I give you myself before preaching or law. Will you give me yourself? Will you come travel with me? Shall we stick by each other as long as we live? I wish for each of you that you should stick by each other. as long as you live, and remember to be grateful to one another for that love that is more precious than anything. And now, I would like to invite Cher Hu to offer opening remarks on behalf of the class of 2018.
Good morning. It was my first time in the United States. I was supposed to be picked up at LAX, visit Hollywood, and do all the stuff a tourist from China is supposed to do, before flying off to Birmingham to begin my sophomore year as an Indian Springs student. When I excitedly chatted with the cab driver about my future plans and aspirations, he simply smiled and commented, "What good school finds itself in Alabama?" Well, Indian Springs. Though his remarks was clearly meant as a joke, I was upset and answered rather seriously. Indian Springs, my future home. As a 15-year-old who's never been to Springs, but frantically defending my school choice from outside attack, I did not realize the weight in that statement. That in 3 years, I would find complete truth in my answer that day. That Indian Springs is indeed the best school in the world, and forever a sweet home for each and every one of us in the class of 2018. Because we are not just about our rigorous academics, our delicious brownies, or the bell on top of the dining hall. But Indian Springs teaches us to be humans. Humans who care deeply about each other and the world here and beyond. That care characterizes our school. It is contagious, and it is all around. That is why it's especially hard to characterize it into any specific instances. But now I'd like to do my best. So the first order after getting to Springs is the same for many. To audition for the famous choir that boasts half of our students. After an excruciating wait outside Dr. Thomas's office, and an even more excruciating attempt to sing a scale, I had the honor of becoming a member of the secret society known as the Kids Who Didn't Get into Choir. I told this to a few of my friends, and they told me to never ever say this to anyone. But in a way, I'm pretty glad that I did not get in the first year, because everybody showed me so much care and concern. Whether it's my roommate Jennifer, who always shared with me all about choir, my future roommate Alice, who always dragged me to the concert hall to teach me how to sing more with my stomach, or Dr. John, who always forced me to sight sing the violin pieces I play. That's not really fun, by the way. But when I had the chance to accompany the choir in a concert as a member of the Alabama Symphony Youth Orchestra, the choir's heavenly voices singing the Brahms Requiem touched my soul. But I never had the courage to ask about joining again. Then, on the very last day of school, the very last day before Dr. Thomas was going into retirement, he invited me into his office and asked me to sing a C major scale, and just announced I got in. Though I later discovered that I really cannot sing, I did have an amazing experience in choir with Mr. Dibbo, with Dr. John, and all the amazing members who cared to help a tone-deaf girl enjoy the quintessential Springs experience. That's why I knew why Springs is such a special place. Once in my junior year, Lily and I got a really severe hunger at 11 p.m. known as the flick dining syndrome. Desperate for any edible material at all, we decided to throw a sweet potato into the microwave and see if it cooks. The result is imaginable. After about 30 seconds, we heard a sharp pop sound. and the thick smell of something burning slowly permeated the air of the girls' commons room. Panicking to clean out the mess, my heart sunk when I saw Miss Tesla emerging from the hallway. We expected a scolding or sarcasm, or worse, a record. But none of that happened. Instead, Coach D pulled out her phone, opened Google, and typed in, "How to microwave a sweet potato." She said, "You see, the trick is that you have to prick the sweet potato with a fork, and then wrap it in wet tissue paper." She explained the steps as if walking us through the steps of a chemistry lab experiment, just like how to neutralize chloric acid, etc. And then she made us repeat it again to make sure we remember to prick the potato the next time. Though I never again had the audacity to put any potato, sweet or unsweet, into that microwave, that experience warmed my heart. Because at Springs, we have faculty who care less about how we messed up the microwave than whether two girls can enjoy a hot meal at 11 p.m. I feel so loved and cared for, and a wish to give back to the community. I had that same feeling again during my last cross-country race before state this year. I managed to sustain myself until the last mile of the 5K race. Then suddenly in front of me, I saw my teammate Catherine Goodrich stopped and bent over as if coughing in pain. I wanted to give her back a pat when I passed over her. Okay, this is embarrassing, but I guess I forgot to slow down before I did that. So I ended up giving her back a huge slap, causing both of us to fall down, to fall on our knees and on the sharp gravels and tree branches of the cross-country trail. As any athlete might know, falling and losing momentum is among the worst things that can happen. Our bodies were on the verge of collapsing, and our feet were barely able to move. But for the remainder of the race, we stayed alongside each other and moved inch by inch until we crossed the finishing line. Although our times turned out to be terrible, that journey became one of my favorite experiences, because that is exactly what Springs has meant to me. A journey. A journey where we had the care and support of each other. A journey where we shared the pain, the laughters, the tears, the countless nights of panic before a Cooper or Neely test, the school spirit lighting up at the swamp, the stress level at 11:55 p.m. before a college deadline, and everything that is bittersweet because it's fleeting. So thank you to the class of 2018 for going through this journey together. It is because of you that I finally understand how to answer the cab driver's question from 3 years ago about what makes Springs such a special place and a sweet home for each and every one of us. It is not just because of the sweatshirt that Josh always wears around that has the outline of Alabama and home right in the middle, although it does provide good visual cues. But it is really about the people and the care. I'd like to also give my most sincere thanks to Ms. Mazer, Mr. Allen, Abby, Peter, Liz, Bella, and Devin, and everybody in the mock trial program. Thank you to Ms. Wainwright and the Youth Legislature. We're new, but keep up the good work. Thank you to the talented musicians of the musical ensemble and the contemporary ensemble for keeping the spirit of music alive and well. Thank you to Ms. Johnson for handling all our stress and complaints about college and directing us to a better future. Thank you to Eliza, Amy, and their family for hosting me during Thanksgiving and giving me a home away from home. I will always be thankful for that. And thank you to my parents and my grandma who flew all the way from China to watch graduation and to witness this decisive moment of growth and change. Last but not least, thank you to whatever uncertainty that awaits us in the future. We are ready for you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark Romero. I served as a fall semester mayor, and I'm honored to be speaking to you all today. Now, unsurprisingly, I had a hard time writing this speech. I kept putting it off over a few weeks, and I guess that's just because I didn't really know where to start, now that I'm supposed to be writing about the end. I mean, at this point, I'm still having trouble wrapping my head around the fact that we're all finally graduating. And although I know that this school has changed me so much, it's difficult to specify how. I mean, I know my height hasn't changed that much over high school, but otherwise, there's one basic idea that I've always been returning to. And that is, Springs has a special way of luring students outside of their comfort zones. Even though this bubble of a campus feels like the safest place in the world, there are plenty of opportunities to try new things. No one forces you to change, but if you're just willing to take a risk here and there, you can develop at your own pace and find parts of yourself that you've never considered. To illustrate that, let's go back a few years for a bit. August 2013. I started in Springs as an 8th grader. My sister started as a freshman the year before, but she had such a good time that my mom wanted me to transfer in ASAP. Even though my sister was already at Springs, I was still really nervous about starting somewhere so new and different from what I was used to. After all, my hometown, Hamilton, Alabama, has a population of about 7,000 and about 0 diversity. It's a small town, the kind that you can divide into the side with the Walmart and the side with the Sonic. So, needless to say, coming to Birmingham was a pretty big leap for me. The night before 8th grade orientation, I only got 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I was kept up by a mixture of caffeine and nerves. Now, I'm not sure if I would have done any better had I gotten more sleep, but I do know that I didn't do a whole lot for myself on orientation day. I didn't talk much, I kind of just went with the flow, and I remember ending up at a table by myself during lunch that day. I guess my 13-year-old self just didn't realize that this school gives students enough freedom to pull up an extra chair to a full lunch table. But anyway, I really appreciated it when Mr. Rogers and one of the 9th grade class reps helping out that day spotted me and sat down and talked with me, but I still left feeling a little bit out of place. I didn't even go to the pizza dinner at the end of that day because I was just so overwhelmed and exhausted by how new everything seemed to me. So, based on all that, I can very honestly say that I didn't come to Springs hoping to become mayor one day. When I came in as an 8th grader, I just wanted to cruise under the radar throughout high school. But as I said during my mayoral campaign, I soon learned that Springs doesn't lend itself towards mediocrity. As I just worked on things that I thought seemed fun, I got sucked into the, I'm gonna say it, community. And by the end of 8th grade, some of my peers were suggesting that I run for class rep. So Bennett Atkins and I started the Mark and Bennett, or Market, campaign to supply what the class demanded, and I ended up entering student government for the first time as a freshman. From then on, things kind of just escalated over time, and I couldn't really leave that path that I found myself on. I mean, after I was a commissioner of education with my sister as a sophomore, I really thought I was done with student government. I was tired, and I figured that my personality wasn't cut out for such public positions anyway. But then at the end of that year, Bella Patel asked me to run for COE again with her, and then after that, I found myself running for the position again with Ken Zhao, and next thing I knew, I was at this weird crossroads when people were encouraging me to run for mayor. And I think that was when I really realized how much Springs had done to me. I've never been a talkative guy. I'm introverted and reserved. I'm quiet because I tend to listen more than talk, and sometimes I just get lost in my own thoughts. But for some reason, I decided to run for mayor. For some reason, I felt that I would regret not running for a position that I was positive would rocket me outside of my comfort zone. For some reason, cruising under the radar was no longer what I wanted to do. That's what's special about Springs. Even if you just plan on going with the flow, you get dragged into some kind of whirlpool of participation. You do things without really thinking, but over time, you become passionate about contributing something. I have trouble deciding to do things on my own, but because everyone at Springs is so enthusiastic and supportive, I've ended up where I am today. All that support is why Springs emphasizes its sense of community. At Springs, wherever you go, there's a chance to grow, and there are people to help you along the way. Over my 5 years here, a lot has happened. We started in the old classrooms, spent freshman year in the trailers, and entered a new era of Springs as sophomores. We've had 3 dining services, some better than others. We've had 2 heads of school, but in the end, we've always been part of one community. Springs is more than just a school to us. It's Miss Jacobs having us write letters to our future selves that we can read years later and cringe at. It's Dr. Cooper giving us the opportunity to rewrite our papers and then us waiting until the last possible minute to do so. It's Ms. Tatsloff explaining how Dr. Octopus uses a special form of hydrogen, tritium, in his grand scheme in Spider-Man 2. It's Dr. Neely rallying us with his bugle in the cold winter air outside of the front office. It's Mr. Woodruff, when he's not teaching us literature, beating us at a video game that some of us play very competitively. It's Profe Ortiz taking the Spanish classes out for lunch at Little Donkey. And it's Miss Fordson and Coach Van Horn driving my devastated self back to campus after I got into a car accident during a senior lunch out. This place is a treasure trove of memories and emotions for us. All of us in the class of 2018 grew up here together. We've enjoyed all of its quirks, and we've stuck with each other up till now, the end of our high school journey. We may be going our separate ways, but we aren't leaving Springs behind us. In Thor Ragnarok, Thor learned that Asgard is not a place, it's a people. The same goes for Springs. Springs is not just this place, it's all of us. The camaraderie and the experiences that we share, and the connections that we'll carry with us endlessly into the future. So I think I speak for everyone in the class of 2018 when I say thank you to everyone who has ever supported anyone at Springs. Thank you to the staff, thank you to our coaches, thank you to our teachers, thank you to our family, thank you to our friends. Thank you for rolling with us along the whole way. Thank you.
Hello. So, I wasn't sure whether or not we were going to be outside or inside, so I prepared two separate openings for today. I will now give the outside opening, which is on this piece of paper. Hello. So good morning, students, parents, faculty, and graduates. I'm honored to be giving a speech for you all today. And as I drag on for the next several minutes, feel free to zone in and out as I talk about who knows what. We finally did it though, graduates. We made it. We started from the bottom and now the whole team's here. Well, most of us. Most of us started as little 8th or 9th graders, but my Springs experience started a little bit before that with my brother. I remember being on campus to drop him off, pick him up, and even right here for his graduation. I knew that this was a special place even back then, and it was one of the big pushes I had to come here in the first place. Everyone has a different story of how they all got here today, but being here sure does mean a lot. And look how far we've come since our days of sitting in the trailers as 9th graders, not knowing what the next 4 years would hold. You know, being in those trailers taught me a lot, but I learned patience above all because we had to wait for what seemed like forever to be in those new classrooms. I met those who are sitting to my right in very interesting ways. Evan and Peter I met going to the very first Frisbee Club practice as I learned that we didn't actually have a real Frisbee team. After the first school dance, I got a lot of people's Snapchats and phone numbers, obviously because of my amazing dance moves. Henry, Liz, Mark, Bennett, Rachel, Josh, and Cece I met doing the 8th and 9th grade play, which was about a guy who got nervous around girls, but not around hookers. It was weird. It was weird. But overall, the year flew by. And after surviving Miss Jacobs' final and not knowing that Dr. Cooper was eagerly waiting for us, I said goodbye to all my friends at the end of 9th grade, and I said, see you next year. Now, 10th grade is kind of a blur for me, and not just because I have to block that out of my memory, but because I hadn't yet learned to remember each moment. I do remember, however, one of the first days of Dr. Cooper's class when he proved to us all that we knew nothing by asking us, what is history? And having us fumble around for the answer and not knowing after an entire day. For anyone wondering what the answer is, I don't remember, so I'm sorry, Dr. Cooper, wherever you are. At the end of 10th grade, my knowledge was put to the test and I knew my place. I said goodbye to everyone, and I said, see you next year. Coming into 11th grade was a big change for us all. We had a lot of new teachers and a new head of school to get adjusted to. It seemed like things were constantly changing, but we quickly gained the ability to adapt. One constant that I got to enjoy was my family's minivan, or as I like to call it, the party van. So to all of you that I gave rides to in 11th grade, you're welcome for giving you the best ride you've ever had. Our class had a monopoly on the Blue Lounge, and we were 1 year away from being the rulers of the school. Some of us, including myself, got a really bad case of early onset senioritis, a disease that has no cure, but I'm 100% sure Ken Zhao's working on that one. I discovered how good of a team Patrick and I make at Balloons Tower Defense, and just how long you can procrastinate something during a free period with Pete. I had a lot of senior friends my 11th grade year, and during graduation, I realized that I hadn't savored all the moments that I would have liked to. And I had my mission for senior year to remember all that I could. And at the end of 11th grade, I said goodbye to all my friends, and I said, see you next year. Summer had passed, and the last year had finally arrived. We're seniors, we're 12th graders. I had my mission to remember as much as I can, and spoiler alert, it didn't go as well as planned. I made more friends that I wish I had made earlier, and I continued to form new relationships. My senioritis got worse as I spent an obscene amount of time in the senior lounge either watching or playing Fortnite. And a special shout out to James for winning the very first solo game. I'm sure we were loud enough to echo throughout campus, so I'm sorry to everyone that we disturbed. Late in the year, I was amazed because I kept seeing new 8th and 9th graders who swear they had been here the whole year, but I still don't believe that. And I remember being in their shoes. And 4 years have been leading up to the moment we walk across this stage and get our diplomas. And after this day, I'll say goodbye to all my friends and I'll say see you next time. For the first time, we won't be able to say see you next year. This time, goodbye really means something different. No, I don't remember every second of my time here, but that doesn't make any of those seconds any less worth it. I'm thankful to have each and every one of you in my life, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Nathan, Mark, and Cher. The Charles Jordan McDavid Leadership Award is given in memory of Charles Jordan McDavid, a 1958 graduate of Indian Springs School who was active in campus affairs and served as mayor in 1958. He graduated from the University of Alabama in 1962 with a degree in business administration and was prominent in business and civic life in Birmingham during the 60s and 70s. As an alumnus, he was very supportive of Indian Springs as the first president of the Indian Springs Alumni Association, a class agent, and a member of the Alumni Advisory Committee on Co-Education. This award was established when McDavid passed away tragically in 1981, and the recipient is selected by the faculty on the basis of exemplary leadership and character exhibited through participation in student activities. The 2018 Jordan McDavid Leadership Award goes to Peter Scalise.
To give you some idea of what these awards are determined by, I want to read you a statement that Dr. Armstrong addressed to the senior class in 1969. And here's what he had to say. And incidentally, this is read to each senior class since then as they determine who gets these awards. And here's what Armstrong said. Beginning with the graduating class of June 1969, the Allen Furnace and Robert Cartus Memorial Awards will be bestowed annually on the seniors who, in the judgment of their peers, have lived lives that best represent among their classmates the widest possible range of traits in mind and character essential to human worth and dignity. We dare not ask you the question of which individuals in your class are of the most worth as human beings, but it gestures at what we hope will be the focus of your thinking as you vote for two of your classmates. And this year, the Allen Furnace Award goes to Bella Patel. And the Harry Cartus Award, or Robert Cartus Award, goes to Peter Spall Calise.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Now it is my pleasure to introduce a new award in honor of long-term board member Libby Pantazis, who completes her 17-year term of service, including 7 years as chairman of the board this spring. During Libby's tenure, Indian Springs has become so beautiful that magazines write stories about our campus and its new buildings, and so well thought of that the school's enrollment is complete and then some. Libby has presided over years of tireless fundraising and excellent financial stewardship, accreditation and strategic planning processes that have resulted in campus master planning and thoughtful growth, and the shaping of a fair, strong, dynamic board of directors. The Libby Pantazis Award for Service to Indian Springs is given to that senior student selected by the faculty who best exemplifies Libby's combination of dedication, joy, and passion in service to this school. The recipient of the inaugural Libby Pantazis Award is Mark Romero. At this time, I'd like to invite the members of the class of 2018 to begin approaching the stage for the awarding of their diplomas, and to invite our Dean of Academics, Dr. Tanya Hyatt, to read their names in turn.
It is our pleasure to present the diplomas to the Indian Springs School class of 2018. Graham Christian Alexander. Bennett Medee Atkins.
Miss Vanjie, Miss Vanjie, Miss Vanjie.
Caroline Elizabeth Baker. Bao Juinja. Philip Nicholas Sky Biavash. Eliza Jeanette Black. Evan Owens Brandon. Catherine Llewellyn Bryant. Nicholas Scott Bryant. Carolyn Anna Calvert Grimes. Justin Liam Chapman. Hyun Bin Cho. Josephine Louise Cleverton. Ada Benton Cohen. Evan Mitchell Dasher. Ava Grace Swider Davis. Madeline Regina Swider Davis. Jacob Vernon Drake. Feng Siyi. Feng Taoshan. Nathan Allen Fisher. Galen Harley Fleet. Christopher Grant Freeman. Carter Ansel Gachet. Ethan Cohen Getman. Henry Hudson Goff. Anna Lisa Goodman. Carolyn Janeline Grammer. William Atticus Grumley. Sonia Jessie Gay. Mohammed Adnan Hamo. Nancy Allen Hollis. Hu Wei-Fei. Seabrook Hannah Jeffcoat. Kenneth Jiao. Elizabeth Rosada Jones. Emily Lauren Jones. Linda Grace Knowles. James Townsend Lassiter. Amy Grace Lee. Valentino Lim. Alexandra Quinn Lorkey. Lu Zhao Ray. Abigail Faye Mathis. Logan Noel McFadden. Patrick Brendan McGuire. Chloe Ella Miller. Tristan Jones Moore. Rachel Clancy Murdoch. Mary Grace O'Malley. Ricky Christina Almer. Suhan Sean Park. Patel. Delaney Elizabeth Porter. Joshua Logan Ragsdale. Dana Hedjo Rafai. Cecilia Jane Reisner. Hal Marshall Rogers. Mark Gabriel Romero. Peter Paul Scalise IV. Peter Andrew Schilly. Francis Tate Shuttlesworth. Sam St. John. Tong Shu Yi. Sarah Veshla Romnil Toms. Jay Vlakos. Noah James Walton. Catherine Elizabeth West. Juliet A. Wyattrack. Catherine Grace Wyattrack. Danielle Chen Wu. Shu Wei Chi. Zhang Tianxing. Zhang Si. Lily is unable to be here with us today, but we do want to acknowledge her with the rest of her classmates. So congratulations to Lily. Zhao Zumeng. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Indian Springs class of 2018.
My name is Belle Patel, and I'm honored to be speaking with all of you today. I would first like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. All of you have had an impact in getting us here today, and on behalf of the class of 2018, I personally would like to say thank you. I would first like to start off with a story from my 8th grade year. Get up, it's time to go to school, my mom announced at the early time of 6 o'clock. This was a normal routine, except today was not an ordinary day or any ordinary circumstance. I was heading into 8th grade. My mom dropped me off at the library because, of course, to drop off at the town hall was way too far. I got out of the car, excited to go. As my mom rolls out, I start to walk around aimlessly. Here is why that is possibly the best thing to have happened. While I was aimlessly walking, I came across many breaths of Indian Springs that reaffirmed my decision to be here. It was the place that piqued my interest, but the people that made me stay.
I never shouted at students at Indian Springs. I never toured, nor did I talk to anyone who was here. But in 8th grade, when I first stepped on campus, there was electricity that ran through my body. Maybe it was the nerves. No, it definitely was the nerves. But this first day of 8th grade propelled me into a state of awe. For starters, I did not memorize the schedule, so during the 20-minute break between classes, I rushed through town hall with all my gym clothes, dropping every single article of clothing in it, all throughout town hall because I was going from Miss Jacobs' room to the art building. That's how much I was in awe. But it was more than that. As many of you know, the class of 2018 has gone through many changes. Some of these changes vertically, for example, Evan Brandon, Grant Freeman, Henry Goff, Nathan Fisher, the list goes on, or through the expansion of buildings. When I think of these changes, they coincide to how Springs' look was defined. As an 8th grader, I was fortunate enough to experience the old buildings, the amazing trailers, and the new buildings. The old buildings were a foundation, a base that helped us get to know each other and become acquainted. The trailers were our experiences. They represented the warped up, crazy times that we shared. Whether it was when CCG and I were on a scout hunt team called Belle Patel because we forgot to send in a name, the fact that I know Peach Chili's definition of ethnic food is Chipotle and Moe's Southwestern Grill, that they would understand my 3-day study plan, sorry Dana, and that Liz's dog has been to more games than I have. We share these experiences. And the new buildings were our product, our lasting commitments to one another, because when I think of what Springs has done for me, I think of the friendships, the bonds, and the memories I have been blessed to have made. There is a natural tendency to get very sappy in talking about how much my friends have meant to me and how much the faculty and mentors I have had has changed me in immeasurable ways. But for a place like this, every memory is worth reflecting on. I thank my peers, my friends, and my family for providing me with one of the best foundations and base, crazy experiences, and a product of lasting memories for these past 5 years. For the drop close through town hall, the science explorations made by Ken, Amy, and Danielle, or the adventures to get food on any day at any time, this has been a ride and I couldn't be more grateful for it. As a class, we are a unit. My mom would often refer to us as an amoeba, walking around in one group, all stuck together like glue. What was an exciting accomplishment for one of us became an exciting achievement for us all. When sports teams won games, or when James was the first to win a game of Fortnite, Sonia, Pete, Logan, and Justin signed with their colleges, or when a real sport, Scholars Bowl, won a tournament, we all stood there behind them. I remember when Bennett applied to only one college, and it was the day that decision was coming out. He was nervous, I was nervous, most of our friends around us were very nervous. That nervous feeling is what it feels like to be a part of a family, one that goes through hardships, successes, and all the unsettling feelings in between. When his decision came out and he got in, Liz and I jumped into the air and yelled joyfully. What it showed was that what not only he, but the whole class accomplished, we celebrated, because a win for one of us was a win for us all. In this past year, my senior year of high school, I've had many conversations with my parents, asking about their experiences, friendships, and what they missed. I realized a few things, and I hope as a class of 2018, we move forward with these things in mind. We have created some wonderful bonds and friendships here at Indian Springs. And as we move forward, I hope we continue to nurture these friendships and don't forget our experiences here, but rather build on them. Thank you, Class of 2018, for letting me be a part of your lives and for being a part of mine. I can say for certain that each of you will do amazing things after our time here, and I thank the support of our families, faculty, and mentors for helping build us into who we are today. Knowing that at this one moment, in this one place, each of us have come together, I can only thank Indian Springs and the people that have guided us here. With that, congratulations, Class of 2018. Let's continue to do amazing things. Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. Now, after the choir leads us in singing the alma mater, we will recess with the graduates over to the Science Center. I'd like to urge you to please follow us there. Spend some time taking pictures, hugging, and weeping while we transform this tent into a dining area for our graduation lunch. So once that's done, please enjoy a light lunch the dining hall has prepared and linger as long as you like here by the lake. Thank you all for being part of our celebration today, and congratulations, graduates.